Caminanti no hay camino, se hace camino al andar se hace el camino. Pathmaker, there is no path. You make the path by walking. By walking, you make the path.
Welcome to the 21st Annual Skoll World Forum.
Prepare this week to not only be inspired, but also to be challenged. We are going to be holding both a lot of joy and a lot of sadness together.
So why are we hopeful? It is because of all of you. Each of you alone is a force for good, but together, as a community, the possibilities are truly limitless.
We wanted to take a moment to honor our beautiful friend and longtime member of this community, Jess Search. Do you think that I would wear this for anyone else?
The Skoll World Forum is kind of a magical place where you run into people who almost all share the same values of wanting to improve the world for others. And you don't find communities like that very easily all the time. It's incredibly inspiring.
We all want the same things: common and human well-being, shared prosperity, and these agendas of development and climate are competing at the same time.
What is lacking in our world today, to be honest, is leadership. We also have the pressure of social media, which is making everything very short-term, immediate, sugar to the brain, flick, flick, flick. People want populist answers to everything, even though the problems are complex.
I did feel like I had to prove myself because this notion of kindness was so often coupled with weakness. You know, we teach our kids kindness. We teach our kids curiosity. We teach them generosity. And at some point, we stop expecting that of our leaders.
Precisamos, em conjunto, reflorestar mentes em todo o mundo.
Love is a way of making know the other person that their existence is not unnoticed.
Não é possível pensar uma democracia mais democrática se a gente não olhar para o panorama completo.
How can we really, achieve the global climate goals and biodiversity goal if we don't invest in communities that are really the steward of the forest, that are really doing the work?
This dance was about moving with grace and beauty and flowing. It would show us that we have the power as humans to navigate life with that same grace.
The one way that we can fight against these systems, these narratives, is by sharing our own stories. The world is narrated by far too few people. And that's what we need to collectively work on.
First of all, systems do produce the results that they are designed to produce. It is not a mistake. It really, really is true that the people who are best positioned to change a system are the people who experience its inequities, and they have to be at the table.
I started off watching this online, and then I ran here.
Hello, Oxford! The path to navigate and ultimately transcend oppression and trauma doesn't have to be paved solely with self-sacrifice and arduous struggle. It can be richly adorned with elements of decadence, joy, pleasure, love, and if I say so myself, a generous sprinkling of glitter.
I want to thank also the sun at the middle of this solar system, the Skoller system. sorry. I'm sorry, speechwriters, I'm off script. But Jeff Skoll, your generosity is remarkable. That it is falling on my organization is one of the humbling experiences of my life.
It's a true highlight of our year to honor the extraordinary innovators and organizations. These innovators represent different geographies, approaches, and solutions, and they're united in the belief that everybody, and I do mean everybody, has room and has a role to play.
When I started Food for Education, I had no grand vision. What started as me doing a small act in my small community has now become a round-the-clock, intricate operation, delivering over 150 tons of food every single day with close to zero waste.
Road crashes are one of the most pressing public health issues in the world, disproportionately impacting the poor. Today, Save Life stands as an institution working to eradicate this severely overlooked issue altogether.
I imagine one day communities will be able to build and share knowledge tools that allow you to hold up a view of an event in the world and understand how it is that this means more than you know. To me, this is a wise, kind, and hopeful view of the internet.
Today we are celebrating the varied and beautiful mainstreaming of contemporary Native culture, identity, knowledge, and innovation. We are not just surviving, we are thriving.
Keep standing up. We play dance music.
Please welcome back to the stage Cheryl Dorsey and Selena De Sola.
What's up, fam? You look beautiful. Welcome to our closing plenary of the Skoll World Forum for 2024. And I think it's appropriate to start this closing plenary with what? Gratitude, right? Deep appreciation for all in attendance who made this extraordinary event possible.
Well said, Cheryl. What has been for you one of your favorite moments here during the forum?
Oof, I was afraid you were going to ask me that, and I'm going to whiff. I just can't pick one, right? So these past few days for me have been full of magic, right? Serendipitous encounters, knowledge both shared and deepened, friendships and partnerships strengthened, formed, and revealed. What about you?
You know, there's so many moments, like you said, and I think some of the ones that stick out for me are Dame Jacinda and how she showed us about leading with kindness, right, and integrity. That was incredible. Also, all these Brazilians in the house. They're a noisy group. They're fun. That's been great. I think Eddie, it just was so much fun. I love the joy, the glitter, the fabulous. It just kind of really got me pumped up. And just all of us dancing to incredible music, and I think our hearts beating, our bodies beating at the same time was amazing. I think all those things, and just being part of the scholar system, right? I think that's just...
You had to do it, didn't you?
I had
Yes.
to. I had to.
I do love that, though. And however, now I'm going to be the downer. In the midst of this beautiful, beautiful gathering, I'm grateful that we're also, through all of the sessions, keeping our focus on what's really important and what touches all of our lives, right? So apropos to that, global health. It might be that it's not really dominating our news cycle like it was for the past few years, but as you all know, we have to remain vigilant against new threats to the global health system, and yes, the threat of future pandemics. And I do think Oh, thank you, global health folks in the house. Yes, yes. But I do think we have just the right folks here to guide us through this important topic and just figure out what's urgently needed. So now I'd like to bring up Dr. Raj Panjabi, a true underachiever, right? Skoll Foundation board member. He's a Skoll awardee, founder of Last Mile Health, former special assistant to the U.S. President, senior director for the Global Health Security and Biodefense at the White House, and Echoing Green Fellow, of course.
Obviously. Well, Raj is joined by Peter Sands, and the executive director of the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria. So please welcome them to the stage. Woo!
Thank you. Okay, Peter, we're going to add a new title to our list. You and I have worked together for many years. We've been on panels multiple times, but never as the opening act for George and Amal Clooney.
Yeah. There are aspirations and there are aspirations.
That's right. I was reading the well-known medical journal called People magazine this morning. And I learned that George Clooney and Brad Pitt are filming a new movie called The Wolves. I heard they have not decided on the supporting cast or the stunt doubles. So I'm declaring this as our audition for those roles.
We're obvious candidates to be stunt doubles.
You'll have to figure out who could be who. So, I don't know if that was a good laugh or a bad one. On the heels of the worst pandemic in recent memory, in many parts of the world, we're facing the greatest setback in life expectancy since World War II. We're facing setbacks in HIV and AIDS. In the United States, political polarization has led to a threat on the United States' commitment to PEPFAR, the President's emergency plan for AIDS relief, which, alongside the Global Fund, has helped save 25 million lives from HIV and AIDS around the world. We are seeing now setbacks when it comes to malaria. The climate crisis is leading to flooding unlike ever before. That is breeding new sites for mosquitoes and putting people at risk who had never been previously at risk for malaria. Conflicts are creating a setback in the way we fight tuberculosis. When people flee war, they often end up in crowded conditions, in displaced camps or in displaced communities, and that breeds the spread of tuberculosis, which spreads from person to person through the air. In the middle of all of that is the Global Fund, which is a cause for hope. And Peter, you lead the Global Fund now, but before you were the head of the Global Fund, you were a successful banker, I think the head of a small community bank called the Standard Chartered. How does, everyone here has a why, and I don't think I've ever had a chance to ask you this before. What makes a person who was helping the world make money decide to join an effort to give it all away to fight the world's deadliest infectious diseases?
Well, Raj, sometimes you have to go from the dark side to the light. No, I mean, in all seriousness, it wasn't part of a grand plan. I knew that having been CEO of Standard Chartered for 9 years, that I wanted to do something completely different. And I actually went immediately and parked myself at Harvard and started doing writing and research on the economics and finance of pandemics. This was in 2016 and 17, so before COVID-19. And while I was doing that, and I loved being a kind of pseudo-academic, it was great fun, I got approached for the Global Fund role. And in fact, I turned it down because I was having so much fun doing this pseudo-academic thing. But then I actually felt, I had a real sort of gut-wrenching physical feeling of that was like one of the world's worst decisions, one of my worst ever decisions. And because you don't often get the opportunity in life to do something where the difference between doing it well and badly is millions of lives. And so I changed my mind, and I had to kind of go back groveling to be allowed to be let back into the process. So I got appointed, and I've now been there 6 years. It is an extraordinary privilege to be the executive director of the Global Fund. It is this unbelievable, unique partnership of government, civil society, technical agencies. It's a fantastic place to work.
Well, we're glad you made that choice. And let's talk about the fund. I want to talk about what it is, why it matters, and what can we learn, whether you're focusing on health or climate or democracy or other challenging issues. What can we all learn from your leadership of it? So why don't you start with what it is? There are plenty here who are familiar with the Global Fund, but some who may not be.
Okay, well, to start with, the Global Fund was an extraordinarily successful partnership well before I arrived. The Global Fund was created in 2002. It was created as a response particularly to the then exploding pandemic of HIV/AIDS. And they decided to take the three biggest infectious disease killers, HIV, TB, and malaria. And it was deliberately created as a partnership of governments, civil society, communities, the private sector, private philanthropy, outside. It's sort of the biggest, certainly in the health world, multilateral outside the UN system. And since then, it has been, as I said, extraordinarily successful. I've been there now 6 years. In the 6 years that I've been there, we've raised over $34 billion and have saved roughly 30 million lives, bringing the cumulative total for the total life of the Global Fund to about 60 million lives. Now,
You just said 60 million lives.
60 million lives. And what's more, halving the annual death toll across HIV, TB, and malaria. What are the success factors? First is the nature of the partnership. And you only have to look at the way the Global Fund board is structured to get a sense of what makes it different. We give more power, real voting power on our board to civil society, communities, private sector, private philanthropy than any other multilateral. There are not many multilaterals in the world, for example, that civil society have 3 times as many votes as the United States. So that's one thing. The second principle is incredibly important, is country ownership. That doesn't necessarily mean government ownership, it means country in an inclusive sense. We don't sit in Geneva and tell countries what to do with the money. They determine the priorities and they determine how to actually realize those priorities. And they do that through an inclusive decision-making mechanism that involves different stakeholders, including, crucially, the communities most affected.
So there's communities, there's government,
private sector, civil society, development partners like you used to run the Presidential Malaria Initiative. Bilateral partners would be involved.
I want to bring you back to social innovators, because that is one particularly relevant point here in this audience with philanthropists, with social innovators. You've actually partnered with those groups, not just governments, as you noted. There's been some exciting partnerships out of that. We've been proud to partner with you on something called Africa Frontline First, which this group's heard about. An effort to hire, train, and equip 200,000 local community health workers who will, when all is said and done, bring healthcare within reach of 100 million people. And you decided that you wanted to do that. There are other innovators here in health or in other sectors who want to develop partnerships like that on other issues. Can you tell us why you did it?
Part of the magic of the Global Fund Partnership is that we're able to combine the kind of innovative, nimble, able to reach the most marginalized communities, skill sets and characteristics of non-governmental entities, be it community-led organizations, civil society, private sector organizations, with governments, that we're able to bring those two together. Ministries of health all over the world are irreplaceable, but they also tend to be bureaucratic, slow, a bit resistant to innovation, sometimes affected by political imperatives. And being able to catalyze different ways of working through involving social innovators of different kinds has proven incredibly powerful. And the proposition that we give to those of you who are those sorts of innovators is we can enable you to bring your ideas to scale. Mm-hmm. Because the big problem that many of the people with the best ideas have is they do these very, very nice projects, but they're not kind of changing things at the level of entire countries. And that's what we're trying to do.
If there was a tactic that you found the most effective tactic by social innovators to persuade you and the broader Global Fund Partnership to team up on an issue, what's been the most effective tactic you've seen used?
I think the first thing is to come and talk to us,
yeah,
so that we understand. The second thing is we are fundamentally interested in impact at scale. And we're interested in things where you can draw a direct line through to measurable improvements in people's health, i.e. less people dying, less people getting infected, longer life expectancy, those sorts of metrics. If you can excite us, and actually more critically, then you can excite the countries, because actually the critical decision-making about who to work with is done at the level of individual countries. That's what we'll get interested in.
So impact, scale, metrics, country partnership. Let me ask you one last question, Peter. All of us know that the world's most intractable problems require long-term engagement, measured not in years, but in decades. The Global Fund has actually been at this for decades. You managed, in a year that the war in Ukraine started, that we had multiple climate-related crises, authoritarianism rising, to raise over $15 billion.
15.7, yeah.
15.7, let's not lose a decimal point here, Mr. Banker.
That's $700 million.
All that banking stuff, make sure we're accounting it right. Well, and President Biden and the US was proud. I was in the White House when that was happening. But your team managed to do that, to ensure consistency over decades, which is a real challenge in the sector. How did you do it? How did you keep political will focused on these amongst the most neglected issues on earth?
Well, to start with, we have some very, very committed donors. Governments around the world, private sector philanthropy around the world who have seen the journey with us. But it wouldn't have happened without a couple of things. First is we have to deliver. I approach this a bit like my old career as a banker, which is I have to offer a return. And the return I offer is not a financial return. Indeed, I guarantee to anybody giving us money that they're not going to get a cent back. But what I can guarantee you is a return in lives, and a return in the better health of communities, and particularly the communities which are the poorest and most marginalized in the world. So we've got to do that, and we've got to do that absolutely consistently. The second thing is that it's not us telling the story. we have an extraordinarily powerful advocacy network of communities, civil society, and governments around the world who tell the story for us. And they are much more persuasive than I will ever be. And it's funny, some of my counterparts in other multilaterals say to me, how do you get all these communities and civil society organizations to be so passionate on the Global Fund's behalf? And I said, it's really very simple. How many votes do communities and civil society have on your board? If you give people power, they feel a sense of ownership. And it means that we have a kind of a fantastic, broad network of people who have kept us going.
Well, Peter, thank you for your insights, for your leadership. And George and Amal and Gail Smith, who's interviewing them later, will have to tell us if we've earned our parts in the new film.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Raj. Thanks.
So, Peter just spoke about the power of the voices of leaders in the community. We have actually the privilege of hearing from one that's worked very closely with Peter and the Global Fund now. She's a doctor. She has also been a patient. She's had the lived experience of one of the worst infectious diseases known to humankind, multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. And you're going to hear her story of having survived that disease and how she's turned pain into purpose to become an advocate not just for patients with the disease, but for ensuring that we care for the caregivers who try to heal them. Join me in welcoming Dr. Zolelwa Sifumba.
Walk with me. Ibuhlungu inhliziyo, ibuhlungu inhliziyo, inhliziyo yami ibuhlungu inhliziyo, ibuhlungu inhliziyo, inhliziyo yami ibuhlungu inhliziyo. I can't just sit here and die. Unemployed. UCT MBCHB, class of 2017. Struggling to live. Struggling to find work. Accepting any offers, send help, ready to serve. My name is Dr. Zolelwa Sifumba, and 12 years ago, as a medical student, I contracted multi-drug resistant tuberculosis from the hospital. Walk with me.
Dr. Sifumba.
Hi, Raj.
Thank you. So you've tell us about the poem. Tell us about the song you just sung.
The song that I just sang says, Ibuhlungu inhliziyo, and it translates into my heart is in pain. And it is sang in a language called Xhosa, but I mean, it has similar words to Zulu, so it's a Nguni language, so there's similarities, but it's Ibuhlungu inhliziyo. And yeah, it's,
my heart
is in pain.
Where is that coming from?
Where is that? Well, there are multiple pains that my heart is in right now. The biggest of which is the fact that I am unemployed, and not just me, many other health workers where I come from are protesting right now. They are doing sit-ins because our government has decided that they're not going to employ us. And I don't understand how, when there are clinics where they don't have doctors, while we're in the streets.
You've taken the pain you've lived through with MDR, multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, having, I think you told me that you didn't know when you had contracted the disease when you were about in your early 20s, 21 years old, if I remember correctly, as a medical student. You had not been told that medical professionals were 6 times more likely than the general public to contract that disease. How did that feel when you started to talk about that particular point?
So I was upset first because I didn't understand why we weren't warned, why we weren't told that our lives are also at risk. When we were taught about TB, we were taught about a woman, low socioeconomic status, lives in a 1-bedroom house, and you're just like, okay, that's not me, you know? And then I got it, and it turns out all I had to do was breathe. And so I needed to tell people, and that need to tell people was because I needed to express myself. You see, I grew up not really allowed to express myself. And so after facing that pain, after sitting with myself and realizing that I am in pain and I haven't been taught what to do with it, I learned from my parents that I need to ignore it, but I can't sit here and die. And so I started speaking, I started expressing myself, and I started empowering other medical students first that, yes, it is important that the systems look after us. It is very important, but it is also very important that we nurse our own pain. Even though they didn't teach us how to do that, it is very important that we do that. And not just health workers, I think everyone sitting here tonight felt pain or they witnessed pain and they thought, I'm doing something about this. And I love that, but please don't forget that voice inside that is asking you to take time off, that is asking you to go to the toilet, that is asking you to care for yourself, because if you don't, there's this disconnection from yourself, and from there you cannot connect with anyone.
You've turned your pain into purpose. A lot of us working with communities around the world witness pain frequently. What gave you the courage to turn pain into purpose?
Thank you for the question. It wasn't an immediate courage. I first hid it because I thought, what are people gonna think? What's wrong with me? Why, you know? And then I had to sit with my pain. I had to cry. I had to see that I was in pain, and from that pain, I realized that I had a choice to make. I could listen to the message that was inside the pain, that actually it's time to do something about this. And I also had this great sense that I don't want anybody else to have to go through this. I was on 21 different pills and an injection. I was in pain all day. I had to leave school. I lost friends. So much was happening, and it was so hard to just tell people how I was doing, but I realized that I needed to. And so while I almost died, or rather, I almost killed myself because of it, it saved my life. because I had to get it out. And what was amazing was, as I started getting it out, people started sending love to me. People started sending support to me. People, I mean, they weren't all there. I reached out to the global community, in fact. And people were sending me love, and people were sending me support and asking me how I was and what I needed. And I started asking myself, what do you need? What can I do for me? And I started supporting myself, and people started supporting me, and that was the beginning of my journey towards healing. But I needed, and even as I'm here with you all, I need to tell you all about my pain so that we can all start to talk about our pain. Stop ignoring it, stop suppressing it, stop pushing it down. We need to face it, we need to feel it. And I've got a poem, and at the end of the poem it says, like those who build trees whose shade they will not benefit from, our grandchildren will not be afraid of pain. They will not fight it, they will not flee away from it, because I had to face it. I had to be honest with myself. Honesty. I had to be honest with myself that, look, I'm not okay in Diajona, I'm sinking, and if I don't do anything about this, I will die. So please, everyone here, look after yourselves. Take time off. I'm reminded of the picture on airplanes. I'm sorry.
No, please.
You know, the one where they say, put on your own oxygen mask before you. Imagine we were all here putting on oxygen masks on everyone. Eventually, we all pass out. So please, let's look at our pain, because there's pain that brought us here today.
I remember the first time I heard you speak. Yeah. Thank you for Thank you for being so open with us. The first time I heard you speak, we were in Lyon, France. Peter Sands had just become the head of the Global Fund a year earlier. It was 2019 in October, and President Macron had hosted the Global Fund replenishment then.
It was actually my birthday that day.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, you made a mark on all of us because you told your story, and I encourage everybody to watch that speech. You helped that day the world raise over $14 billion. You have clearly what I think a lot of individuals here hold deep in their soul and their heart, not just the mind of an innovator or the hands of a builder, but the soul and the heart of an activist. And yet, I'll be the first to confess, it's sometimes difficult to lean into that. One needs courage. You have so much courage. Where do you get it from?
I can't say I've always had this courage. And I've always had, a few people trying to encourage me and tell me, you're powerful, you're this, you're that. And I was just like, look, I don't see that. But I had to be courageous. I saw that I was dying. I saw that I was dying, and I realized my medical school wasn't going to do anything about it. I realized the health system wasn't going to do anything about it. I went to collect medication. When I was injected, I was told that you're not going to cry here. And so I was just like, I want to live. And yes, I gave up on TB treatment every night. Like every single night, I was like, I'm done. It's fine. I'll die. And then an hour later, I'm like, I don't want to get XDR. I don't. And not a lot of people have that insight that if you don't take the pills, but I understand why people stop. We call them defaulters, but please stop using that word, because I wanted to stop every single day. And I'm a doctor. I understand exactly what's going to happen. And if the pills I'm taking are stopping me from catering to my family's needs, I'm going to stop taking the pills. Because fine, I may survive in a couple of years' time or whatever, but what about my kids who need food tomorrow?
Yeah.
And so I had to encourage myself that, look, babe, get up. Like, yes, it's painful. Get up. Yes, you fell again. Get up. Go tell people. And the more I told people, the more my community increased, my network. And on nights where I couldn't encourage myself, those people would encourage me.
I want to ask you one last question.
Yes.
Get up is a great call to action for all of us in the communities we work with. It's also perhaps a phrase in your mind when you're playing basketball. Yeah. And she's got a pretty killer jump shot, actually. We decided we're going to play one-on-one the next time we get a ball in front of us. Why do you play basketball?
I don't play anymore, but I used to play, and I'd love to go back to that. I play basketball. First of all, it's fun. I love how cool it looks, like the moves. Like, you know, I want to be a baller. You know, who doesn't want to be a baller? But I very much enjoy the teamwork. I mean, you could have 5 people on the court that are all trying to get the ball and drive it down and shoot. But it's like, what? That's going to look weird, everyone. But it's amazing that you're going there, you're bouncing, and you see your teammate, and you see that he's perfectly aligned to the hoop, and nobody else sees him. So you shoot it to him or her, and they put it in there. And it's like, yeah, you know, like I saw that, you know? And so it just reminds me that we have to do it together. Like, it's not, and I think it's true of anything. We must do it together.
Get up and do it together.
Yeah.
Join me in thanking Dr. Sifumba, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sifumba and Raj. That was soul-stirring.
Thank you.
Totally soul-stirring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. You know, I just want to thank all these incredible global health heroes for their work, and this was a really powerful story. And switching gears a little bit, now I'm really excited for this next segment. And it's not just because I'm about to introduce a fellow Salvadoreña, but also because artists are most often at the forefront of social change. They help us question our existing realities and explore new pathways for what can be. And that's exactly what our next speakers do best. For Freedoms, a Skoll Foundation grantee, is an artist-led organization that centers art as a catalyst for creative civic engagement, for discourse and direct action. So please give it up to the For Freedoms visionaries, Eric Gottesman, Claudia Peña, and Hank Willis Thomas. Please give it up.
Hi, everyone. That was amazing. One thing I love about coming to events like this is it reminds me how much I love people and how important it is to be alive and to remind each and every one of us to be grateful for every breath we get to take and share with another person. So I'm thankful to all of the presenters, thankful to the Skoll Foundation, especially Jimmy Briggs, wherever you are, for supporting us. But even more than that, thankful to all of you for all of the efforts you've made to come here, to share air with us, and to spread love and goodness throughout the world. I'm Hank.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Claudia.
At Four Freedoms, we work at the intersection between art, politics, education, and commerce. We invite artists, institutions, educators, companies to collaborate on projects that bring critical discourse and nuanced insight into dialogue with various issues that are important to our society today.
Our name, Four Freedoms, F-O-R Freedoms, came from the F-O-U-R Freedoms from Franklin Delano Roosevelt, when he said that every person everywhere in the world was entitled to four essential freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. We updated the four freedoms and updated Roosevelt's vision for them. So our new four freedoms are justice, awakening, listening, and healing.
In thinking about healing, Four Freedoms does this thing where we're always trying to bring our most vulnerable selves into the space. So we're going to try some of that out with y'all. I know in this room there are many of us who are lawyers and advocates, activists, scientists, innovators, all sorts of amazing people. And you've been doing a lot of thinking over this last week. Now, my people are Nahua, and we hail from Cuscatán, otherwise known as El Salvador in Central America. Our language is Nahuatl. And in Nahuatl, the word to think is Yul Katetza. Can you try saying that with me? Yul Katetza. The literal translation of this word is conversation with my heart. So to think is to speak to my heart. I want to invite you to think together, but do it in the way of the Nahua. So, over the last 4 days, we've heard many speakers speak brilliantly about all kinds of topics that matter to all of us. They've talked about beauty and destruction and innovation and hope, but there have been many people that also talked about loss. Loss of all sorts. We heard from people talking about losing land in Southeast Asia, all the way to Southeast Louisiana. We heard people telling stories about losing freedoms and rights in authoritarian regimes and also in so-called leaders of democracy. We've heard people talk about losing culture and language and ceremony. And we also heard stories where people told us of people being killed for protecting the land in the Amazon, for being Palestinian, or for being a Black person in America. And so let's just name it together. Many of us are grieving. And when we're grieving, we need to make space for it. Some people in this room maybe are even grieving a loved one, perhaps a parent that passed last year. There might even be someone in this room who lost someone this week. And if that's you, my heart goes out to you. I wondered if we could do this together. Might you be open to saying out loud the names of people you love who have passed on, the names of your ancestors, the names of trailblazers, names of people you look up to who have passed on to the next world? Or perhaps you want to name out loud your relatives in the natural world that you are grieving. Anything at all that you experience loss, I want you to say it out loud so that this entire room can hold it together. So if you will, please, and don't worry about speaking over each other. There's a lot of people here, a lot of people on the live stream. Don't worry about that. Feel free to share one name or one thing or 20. We'll hold this space for as long as it takes. But please feel free to share names now.
Yvonne.
Rose. Cecilia.
Ruth.
Thank you for letting us all bear witness and for bringing your people in here. When my sister was dying of leukemia, she asked us, Is there anything I need to apologize for before I go? She wanted her heart to be in balance before she moved on to the next world. And since her death, I have sometimes mildly, but mostly obsessively thought about that next world and the ancestors. So much so that I've gotten more into math after a many years hiatus. So check this out. Many of the Native communities think about 7 generations. When you count your ancestors in the 7 generations, meaning 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 second great-grandparents, so on and so forth, it's 128 ancestors for 7 generations. Cool. Now, the math isn't always perfect because depending on what part of the world you come from, there are some regions where people were marrying their second cousins more recently than others, so it's not perfect math. But roll with me anyway. Double 7 generations to 14 generations. When you count that, that's 16,384 ancestors. That's a lot of people. And since there's a lot of people in this room and on the live stream, that means that some of you who don't know each other share ancestors. And the more you go back, the further you go back, the more and more related you are, which is why Native people always refer to folks as relatives. In fact, in Nahuatl, in my native language, the word for person is nugyu. The literal translation is my sibling. So in my language, there's no way to refer to that person over there or that other, because everyone is our sibling, because we're all related.
Culture is coded wisdom. We heard that from Wanjira Muthai this week. One of the things I heard again and again this week is that there's wisdom in the body, in listening to the trauma that our bodies carry. And Western culture does not always honor that. In service of productivity, it alienates us from our intuitions. Now, I was an intuitive child. I imagined I could see and speak into the future. I have this vision of myself when I was 5 or 6 years old on the sidewalk in my hometown, narrating a story out loud to my future ancestors about a sunset that I was watching. I believed I could communicate to my future ancestors across time, even about the most normal, everyday things. Later, my intuition was almost educated out of me, but my art practice, through my art practice, and through the people that I've been able to be with through my art practice, I've been learning to reclaim it. Art became a way for me to tell stories alongside others about what we could see together. Through art projects in Ethiopia and Lebanon, where my family is from, in northern Canada and elsewhere, I designed collaborative projects where communities could take back the control of their own narratives. And through these projects, I came to ask an important question. What could I unlearn? So when we started For Freedoms, we wanted to invite artists to look anew at modern democracy. The symbols, messages, and icons became our medium. And we wanted to unlearn them and to work with others to replace them. Since then, we've worked with thousands of artists, hundreds of institutions, museums, universities all across the United States, and also in Mexico, Greece, here in the UK, and Jordan, South Africa, the list goes on. Artists are seers. We center being visionary over being reactionary, sometimes even over being practical, just like my 5-year-old self. And despite the horror and terror that is unfolding in this world, I think people are awakening or reawakening to their own creative powers, to their own possibilities that they hold within themselves. We believe everyone is an artist, and that each one of us has creativity to share. As someone said earlier this week, democracy is a story, and we've been working with artists to reimagine that story, to promote a vision of interdependence, one which values the ways we are connected, not the ways that we are disconnected. There are things of value that lie beyond democracy, and that's what we are trying to model.
Most of what we know. Come closer. It's so strange to give a talk and have my friends not next to me. Most of what we know about past civilizations is through their art. There is no civilization without art. Art and culture are what humanity, as we know it, is founded on. Humanity and art are indivisible. So for that reason, we see that all art is political, and the political is personal. You know me.
My best friend for 25 years, this does not surprise me.
So as artists, we reside in the research lab of the collective subconscious. All good research starts with questions. Those questions lead to answers that design our society through technology, customs, and laws. We believe that good art asks questions and good design answers them. And the quality of the questions dictates the quality of the answers.
How do we bridge binaries?
What's the difference between me and you?
What's the value of that difference?
Where do I end and where do you begin?
And what happens when we realize that I am you and you are me?
Or that they, who we dislike or do not trust, are us, and that from where they are, we are them. Can we find freedom through nuance?
Who taught you to love?
How do you keep your heart open?
Can we imagine a world where love overrules?
Can we let love quiet fear? James Baldwin once said that the artist's struggle for their integrity must be considered as the struggle which is universal for all human beings to get to become human beings. And these are trying times, but in many ways are no different than any other time. In his prophetic book, 1984, George Orwell wrote, almost 75 years ago, "Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. The past is present. And contrary to what certain people might have us believe, no one has the market cornered on the future. We're all shareholders."
Indeed. Nice. I love these guys. Are you willing to go a little deeper with us? Okay, so because of colonization, hypercapitalism, patriarchy, racism, and our need to protect ourselves from weaponized religion, many of us have become alienated from our own spirit. For generations, people have lost connection to their spirituality. And this has had the impact of our inability to pray together. I was recently in Aotearoa, otherwise known as New Zealand, and every event that I went to with the Maori, they started with a karakia, a prayer. And it was just so cool to go into an art gallery for an opening, and it starts with a prayer. It made me feel so human. And there are people in this room who are very comfortable with prayer, and probably others who are comfortable watching others pray. And for others, it's just uncomfortable altogether. But I want to remind you that each and every one of you comes from a lineage of prayer and ceremony. These lands under us, Oxford, for thousands of years, people walk these lands in relationship to the natural world as relatives. Prayer is a gift given to us by the Creator that for many of us, it was bullied out. So this last invitation, I want to invite you to pray out loud. For some of you, it's just your regular practice. You can just put out a prayer. That is very welcome. For others of you, maybe there's a poem that feels like a prayer to you that you can pull up on your phone right now. Some of you, maybe there's a hymn that you'll sing or a song. Maybe there's an affirmation that you share regularly with your family, a quote that means something to you that you can repeat over and over again for a short period of time while we're here together. Rumi says, there's 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. So anything that is meaningful to you in that way is welcome. Now, for those of you who didn't resonate with any of the invitations I just put out, or maybe you haven't eaten yet, or you ate too much, and so you're not in the mood, that's okay, you can sit back and receive. For those of you who are willing to give an offering to the grief that we laid out at the beginning, and an offering to all your relatives in the room, I invite you to share that generosity. We won't do it for too long, but I promise that the connection afterwards will be worth it if you're willing to be generous. We'll take a moment of silence. Please begin. Trying to make me cry. It's working. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. It's the most generous thing you can bring, and we do not take it for granted. We love you.
Thank you.
We went over in time.
You know, John F. Kennedy once wrote, and I quote, "Art is the great democrat, calling forth creative genius from every sector of society, regardless of race or religion or wealth or color." This is what we just experienced. I'd now like to invite my friend and colleague, fellow Skoll board member, Gail Smith, to the stage. She's the former CEO of the One campaign, as well as the former administrator of USAID. Gail Smith.
Thank you, Cheryl, and hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? I will just share one thing. I've been thinking about what I want to do next in my life, and I've decided I want to be Nile Rodgers. So just to leave you with that. So, everybody, there's something we need to talk about briefly before we go to our next session, and that's about a member of this community, and a man who in 2013 received the Skoll Global Treasure Award. Many people around the world, including you all, know Muhammad Yunus as the father of microfinance. He's won a Nobel Prize for his work. He and his colleagues have worked together to bring to scale a powerful tool in the fight against poverty. Earlier this year, Muhammad and 3 of his Grameen Telecom colleagues were sentenced to jail in Bangladesh for allegedly violating the country's labor laws. They're currently out on bail. The message you are about to hear from him reminds us of the importance of 3 principles that we all hold dear: citizens' rights, effective and transparent institutions, and the rule of law. Muhammad.
Hello, my friends in the Skoll Global Forum. I'm very happy to be with you today from Bangladesh. I'm speaking to you about the legal harassment that I'm going through. I've already been punished for 6 months of jail sentence, along with my 3 other colleagues who are in the social businesses that we run. There are 190 cases against us along that line. And there is one particular case which is coming up next, is the anti-corruption case, which will have a longer sentence. And we see no other options for the government to give the sentences, no matter what is the basis of these cases at all. So 250 very important people around the world, including Obama, President Obama, and over half of them, 127 of them, are the Nobel Peace Laureates, Nobel laureates in the world. So I want your attention to our situation so that we don't have to go through this harassment that we're going through. And you write to Bangladesh embassies around the world, wherever is nearest to you, protesting that and saying that this judicial harassment should be ended immediately. Thank you very much for your support.
All right, we ready? Settled? Okay, Selena, tell us what's next.
As you can imagine, I'm really excited to say that now it's going to be time to get you on your feet and start dancing. Yes, but all together on the floor, not on the stage, please. Yep.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. So, Yemi Alade is...
Shaku shaku, get ready.
She's not only one of my favorites, but she's also one of the most successful musicians on the African continent.
Yes. All right.
It's about time.
Okay. Skoll World Forum, are you ready for the Yemi experience? Yemi Alade.
Time to party!
Let's go.
I know you like it, get your dollar.
Get your dollar.
I know you like it, my beans.
You like it, my beans.
And then I'm chicken in fufu.
She put down for my soup.
Tell me what you gonna do.
Hey. Tumba.
No time for tumba, tumba. Umakane tumba, tumba.
Hey, forget your
tumba. No time for tumba. No time for tumba, tumba. Umakane tumba, tumba.
Everybody. Tumba. Hey. Yeah, me. Take it.
Send out my body.
Stop it. Hey.
I know you like get your dollar.
Say, get your dollar.
I know you like it, my beans.
Say, you like it, my beans.
I know that she giving you fufu.
She put down for my soup.
Baby, what you gonna do?
Hey.
I say, no, do me tumba. Tumba. I know come here for tumba.
Hey. Tumba.
No, do me tumba.
Hey.
Tumba.
Hey.
Let me hear you say tumba.
Tumba.
If you're in the building, let me hear you say yeah.
Tumba.
Ha.
Hey. Are you ready for this one? Hey, let's go. Let's go. That's it. We're gonna have a party today. Yemi Alade. Hey.
A woman of quality knows what she wants. If you want to carry me and do what you want, then hurry, come carry your baby. Come and see my mother.
Hey, my mother.
You must see my mother.
Hey, my mother.
Come and see my mother.
Hey, my mother.
You must see my mother.
Hey, my mother.
If you want, come and carry. You must come and carry. If you want, come and carry. Come and carry. If you want, come and carry. You must come and carry. If you want, come and carry. Come and carry.
Yeah.
Mr. Chano, Ogalano, Maradona.
local official.
Every day, not so CCO. Every day, not different species.
Not different species.
Say you love me, talk your everything I want you. I'm the one you truly want. All the others supposed to come. Make it official.
If you really mean it,
make you follow me
all the way to Nigeria.
Hurry, hurry,
come carry your baby. Hey, my mother.
He must sing my mother.
My mother.
Come and sing my mother. Hey.
My mother.
He must sing my mother.
Hey, let's go, let's go.
If you want, come and get it. You must come and get it. If you want, come and get it. Come and get it. If you want, come and get it. You must come and get it. If you want, come and get it. Come and get it.
Hey, quality.
Not what you want. You want to carry me and do what you want then.
Hurry, hurry, come carry your baby, go. Hey, my mother, let's go. My mother. My mother. Hey, my mother.
My mother.
Let's go, my mother. Hey, yes sir. Yes sir. Hey. 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 Yeah. Hey.
Huh.
Huh. Hey.
Are you ready to shake your body?
Let's go.
Let me hear you say hey.
Hey.
And I hear you say oh.
Oh. Hey.
Single, I see searching. You want to mingle, Plenary. Single, I see searching. You want to mingle, Plenary. See back back, see back back, see back back. Oh, because of me like that.
Hey.
See back back, see back back, see back back. Oh, because of me like that.
Hey.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
All because of you.
Yeah. Say your baby know where you there so, where you there so.
Hey.
Oh, God.
We're done. All the way from Chevron.
You come back better cause you say you want better connection.
What's up? Okay.
So that's your sister who say, and you say you're from Gombe, but over city, not go there. What? See back back, what? Come on. See back, what? Come on. See back back, all because of you like that. Hey, come on.
See baby.
What? Come on.
See baby.
Hey, come on.
See baby.
All because of you like that. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
All because of you.
Yeah. Say your baby know where you there so, where you there so.
Hey.
Say your baby know where you there so, where you there so. Give me now.
Let's go, let's go.
See back back.
Let's go, let's go.
See back back, huh? See back back. Oh, because give me that.
Let's go, let's go.
See back back, huh? See back back. See back back. Oh, because
Hey. Everybody do like this. That's right. That's right. Come on. That's it.
if you're having a good time, let me hear you say yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're having a good time, let me hear you say oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ha. Break it, break, 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 break.
Uh-huh. That's
My name is Yemi Alade, beautiful people.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's right.
I come from a beautiful country called Nigeria.
Woo! Make some noise for Nigeria. Come on.
Located in the powerful continent of Africa.
That's right.
I stand before you in the amazing Oxford here in the United Kingdom. And I bring music all the way from the motherland.
That's right.
If you're with me, say uh-huh. Do you know Afrobeats? Afrobeat music.
They know on this side. They know.
Do you know Afrobeats?
They know at the top.
Do you love Afrobeats?
That's right. That's right. We see you.
All right. Let me hear you say all right.
All right.
I'm gonna take you all the way to the beginning. Yeah.
Hey. Let's go.
We about to break it down. If you know this song, sing with me.
Do like this.
You're gonna give me that again. Are you with me, guys? Conda! If you call a woman African woman, no go gree. She go say, I really.
Let's go, everybody. Hey.
If you call a woman Africa, woman no go free. She go say, I be lady. She go say, I be lady.
She go say, I be lady.
She go say, I be lady.
She go say, I be lady.
She go say, Africa woman, a woman. She go say, Africa woman, a woman.
She go say, I be lady.
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 She go say, I be lady. She go say, I be lady. She go say, I be lady.
Go down.
She go say, I be lady. She go say, I be lady. She go say, I be lady. She go say,
Let's go. Hey. Let's go. That's right. Hey.
She go say, I be lady.
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 She go say, I be lady. Come on. Yemi Alade. We're not done yet. We're gonna party some more. Hey, maybe me and you sitting on a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
Baby, me and you sitting on the tree.
K-I-S-S-I-N-G. 1, 2.
Imani Sarangoro, Iwanamoro, you make me feel like.
Ay, 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 ay.
My melody Sarangoro, Iwanamoro, you make me feel like.
Ay, 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 ay,
my sunshine, baby boy. Baby, on my hand, let us live a small. Make I be your baby. You gon' be my man. Baby, on my hand. When I get baby, nothing to the drink I drink. Make me go and spend money. Baby, oh, me and you.
Sitting on a tree. Hey!
Yeah, S&G.
That's right, that's right.
Baby, me and you.
Sitting on a tree.
K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Imani Sarambaro. Warambaro.
You make me feel like ay, 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 ay.
My melody
Sarambaro.
Warambaro. You make me feel like
ay, 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 ay. Hey!
Let's go.
Hey! Let's go! Hey! Let's go! Hey! Hey!
Baby Mukakao.
Baby Mukakao. Baby, baby.
I want to see the shoulder dance. Shoulder dance. 1, 2, go.
Baby Mukakao. Baby Mukakao.
Can I see the shoulder dance? Come on.
Baby Mukakao.
That's it, that's it.
Baby Mukakao.
That's it, that's it. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah.
Baby Mukakao.
Shake it up, shake it up.
Baby Mukakao.
If you didn't work out today, it's your opportunity. Come on, let me get it up.
Hey.
Me and you sitting on a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Can you spell kissing? Come on. Come on, you did it today. Some of us didn't though, but it's okay. Can I hear you spell kissing? K-I. Wow.
A whole choir, wow.
One more time. K-I. You guys are so good. One more time. I am proud of you. Let's see. Baby, let's see if you can take my job. Are you ready to take my job? We're looking for more people in the entertainment industry. Let's see if you can take my job. You ready for that? Oh, no, you guys should not be quiet, so you have to be ready for this. Baby, me and you sitting on a tree. Spell it. K-I. All the people up there. Baby, me and you sitting on a tree. Whoa, everybody,
hey.
Baby, me and you sitting on a tree.
K-I-S-S-I-N.
Whoa,
Hey.
Imani
Sarambaro.
Iwarambaro. You make me feel like
Hey. Ay, 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 ay. Hey.
my melody.
Sarambaro.
You make me feel like everybody to the left, let's go. To the left,
To the left.
to the right,
To the right.
to the left,
To the left.
to the right,
To the right.
to the left,
To the left.
to the right,
To the right.
to the left,
Hey.
left,
To the right.
right. Take it down.
Take it down.
Bring it up.
Bring it up.
Take it down.
Take it down.
Bring it up.
Bring it up.
Take it down.
Take it down.
Bring it up.
Bring it up.
Take it down.
Hey.
Down. Bring it up.
Hey.
To the left.
To the left.
To the right.
To the right.
To the left.
To the left. To the
You
right.
make me feel love. Ay, 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 ay. Honestly,
You guys have no idea what you do every day when you come together and share your experiences and share goals that not only affect you, but affect other people, people that you probably never met in your life. When we come together to try to make sure that we leave the earth even a better place than it was before, you know, like a better place before we give it to the next generation. I just want a round of applause for yourselves. This right here is a room filled with power, with purpose, with goals. Under this one umbrella, we are one people and one family. If you're with me, say yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Another unifying umbrella is music. Because when it hits you, you feel no. When it hits you, you feel no. When it hits you, you feel no.
That's it.
That's what I'm talking about. If you're with me, say yeah, yeah. Are we ready to give them something else? Shake them up.
That's right, we ready.
What you say? What did you say over here? Johnny. But that guy is missing. I can't find him. You know where Johnny is? Where is Johnny, s'il vous plaît? Oh, you said what, bum bum? Ha!
Hey.
Ha! You ready to shake
Somebody
it
like
today? In a good way. Every good way possible. 360. Yeah! Please do that again, please. 360.
Hey.
Yeah!
That's right, that's right.
I want us to sing a song about love real quick. La 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 la.
Hey.
One love.
Boy, yo, yo, yo.
One heart. Sing it. Let's get together and
feel alright.
let me hear you sing. One love. All over the world.
One heart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give thanks and praise to the Lord.
And I will feel alright.
One love.
Hey.
One love.
Hey. One love.
One heart.
One heart. Let's get together and feel alright.
Let me hear you sing it.
One love.
One love.
One heart we get. Give thanks and praise to the Lord. And I go feel alright. Yeah.
Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Everybody give thanks and praise to the Lord,
and I will feel alright.
Give thanks and give praise.
Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel
Give
alright.
thanks, oh give thanks.
Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Hey, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Hey, hiya, hey.
Let there be
Peace and love.
Hold on.
Hey.
This song that I'm about to play now is not out yet. It's a new song, and I'm playing it for you guys. I think there's one thing that you and I need more than ever in this world above materialistic needs, and that is peace and love. I think we can do it with a little more peace in the world, right? We could do with a little more love at home. At home, right? A little more love. So why don't we sing it more often, say it a little more, and then we start to act on it. Can I hear you say act on it?
Act on it.
Can I hear you say peace and love?
Peace and love.
Peace and love in all of the world.
Peace and love in all of the world.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I will feel alright.
Everybody,
let there be
peace and love.
In Africa, let there be peace and love.
Peace and love in Africa. Let there be peace and love in the whole world. Let there be peace in the streets and dancing.
And
Let other jumping in your heels and clapping.
And clapping.
Let other kids in the street be laughing.
Be laughing.
Everybody feel the joy of the party.
Hi-ya-ya.
Anywhere you go, you must come back.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
No
yeah,
matter
yeah, yeah.
religion or your culture. Living a good life
Put
is
your
a
hands up
normal
in the air.
something. Woman,
Wave
don't
your hands up
cry
in the
no
air.
more.
Everybody,
Me
let's
happy
go.
there.
Peace
Peace and love
Hey,
in Africa. Let there be peace and love in Africa. Let there be
peace and love
peace and love
in Africa.
Let there be
Peace and love.
peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Let there be
Peace and love
peace and love.
in Africa.
Let there be
Peace and love
peace and
in the
love.
whole world.
Let there be
Peace and love
peace and love.
in Africa.
Let there be
Peace and love.
let there be
Peace and love.
let there
Hey,
be
peace and love.
peace and love.
Peace and love.
Let there be
Peace and love.
peace and love.
Peace and love.
Let there be
Peace and love.
peace and love.
Africa.
Let there be
Peace and love in the whole world.
let there be
Peace and love. Clap your hands. In Africa, everybody now.
I want to hear you sing, people. Come on.
Oh, wide world.
I just want to hear you say peace and love.
peace and love in all the world.
Gee. Make some noise for Yemi Alade. Mama
Is Johnny
Africa.
here tonight?
Uh-huh. Where's Johnny?
Is Johnny here tonight?
I think I see some Johnny's here.
I think I want a Wombo Lombo before I find Johnny.
Huh.
Wombo Lombo. Johnny. Was that Johnny? Oui.
Hey, Johnny's over there already.
Vous avez beaucoup d'argent? Beaucoup d'argent? Show me. Where's the money at? We'll talk later, yeah? Wombo.
Hey.
Wombo.
Are you ready
This
for
song
this
is
one?
special to me. It features the one and only Angelique Kidjo. Woo! She's my music mother. I love her so much. And if you know this song, sing along.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Hey. 1, 2. Hey. The freedom. Hey. Let's go. Let's go. Hey.
Oh, na, na, na.
Hey. Oh, Colombo.
I hear the sound of a tamborino.
Hey, hey.
Talking drums and shaking a combination.
Hey. Oh, Colombo.
And I see people under the tamborino.
Aya, aya.
Dancing, I guess there is a celebration.
Hey.
Mama, loco, loco. Baba to Serena.
I'm the only one at home.
All I want to do now is dance in Lombo, Lombo. So I lock up and keep Papa alive.
Hey,
When I enter where the better they have a no, yeah. Come see small peeking at the Aruborena. Bolombo, Bolombo.
hey, Bolombo.
That's what Bolombo, Bolombo.
Bolombo.
Like my order. Me ori and it's order.
Hey,
Let me see your hands, everybody. Break your back. Hey. looking for my Johnny.
Where they? Ayakata.
I'm looking for my honey.
Hey.
Johnny, oh, Johnny Mo.
Johnny Mo.
Do you know Johnny?
Question. Where is Johnny?
If I not see my Johnny.
Hey. Problem.
Huh. Wahala they come.
Wahala. Hey.
Let's go.
Hey. Yemi Alade.
That's my name. Johnny leave me for the center, and I don't know what to do. And if I say I don't do like the way Sita they do. Johnny give me table, if I say one marina, what them for the friend? Johnny Bo, I'm looking for my Johnny.
Ayakata.
Johnny Bo.
Hey, do you know Johnny? Question. I don't see my Johnny. Say, for them. Say.
I'm looking for my Johnny.
Looking for my Johnny.
I'm looking for my honey.
Looking for my honey.
Telling me this, telling me that. Sing it's enough for free. Johnny, do me conny. Do me conny.
Hey.
Doing me this, doing me that. But I don't go time for me. We go Canada, we go Tokyo. Yesterday he said, he done this, he sing out below. Na lie. This one now go babe.
Say,
Ayakata.
Original go babe.
See me, see Wahala. Johnny leave me for the center.
And I don't know what to do.
And he don't say I don't do
That's the way Sita they do.
Johnny give me table. So say one marina. Okay, ready for them. Johnny Mo. I'm looking for my Johnny. What you say?
Ayakata.
Johnny Mo.
Say.
Do you know Johnny?
Question. Hey.
If I don't see my Johnny.
Hey.
Forget me.
Hey.
Bring back.
Hey. Teacher. Give them. Get me mark by me now. Get me mark by me now. Get me mark by me now. Yeah. Give them. Okay. Give them. Okay. Hey. Teacher. Ay. Hey. Say.
Let's go.
Say.
Johnny leave me for the center. And I don't know what to do. And if I say I don't do one more.
The way they do.
Johnny give me table. Let's say. Okay. Johnny Mo. I'm looking for my Johnny.
Let's go. Where's Johnny? Johnny over there? Where's Johnny? Aha, let's go. Yes, sir.
That was epic.
Thank you so much, people.
Amazing.
From myself and my incredible band, the African Train. We say thank you and good night.
Yeah.
Come on, Skoll. Can we party one last time? Let's party, that's one time. Let's go, let's go. Let's party one last time. Hey, let's go.
Oh, I'm there.
Hey, let's go, let's go. You too late. Hey, let's go, let's go. Hey, see you very soon. Give dance, give dance, give dance. Hey. Yeah. You too like you can't wait. You can't wait. Thank you so much. Skoll Festival, World Forum. We love you all. See you soon. Hey.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing.
Woo!
That was so good. So good.
That's what we say is unapologetic African extraordinary. Yes. Didn't
Thank
the
you,
queen do
Yemi.
it? Didn't she do it? Yes, Mama Africa. Woo! All right.
You know, I gotta say one thing, Cheryl, before we start. I just wanted to tell Jeff that we told George that he was watching the whole thing. He saw it all, so.
And heard it all.
Heard it.
I think he
heard it
was
all.
twerking back there stateside, right?
Probably, I think so.
Yes,
With this
Jeff.
music, definitely. So I just want to say, you know, as we're closing out, I just want to say that I'm personally leaving Skoll this year with renewed conviction about the possibility of collective change. Because,
yes,
yeah, absolutely. You know, it's like it's our shared solutions. They may not be manifested overnight because they're generational and they're full of challenge, but they're also full of hope and joy. And I've experienced so much joy along with all of you this week, along with you, Cheryl, along with everybody here. So thank you for fortifying, for inspiring, and for delighting me.
That's beautiful, Selena. Thank you. Thank you. And you know, this forum, we counted in dog years, right? But at the start of this year's Skoll World Forum, we asked each of you, all of you, to bring your full selves to this gathering. Those here in person, as well as our virtual guests, you all did just that and so much more, evidenced by your level of energy, engagement, dancing, effort. I would say it's what collective impact, but more importantly, it's what love looks like, right? Yes. And we're here because our founder, our wonderful visionary, Jeff Skoll, made this possible. We're going to thank him again at the end, but can we give him a quick thank you right now? Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. And can I just say quickly, point of personal privilege, it has been such a joy to stand beside this extraordinary young leader. And for me, we're all going to go back and we're going to know in our work that the struggle is real, y'all. It's real. But this event sort of filled our cup with joy, and it's going to allow us to go back to the struggle. And for me, one of the things that was so glorious about this week was all the time that I talked to, saw in action, the extraordinary young women who are part of this forum. Extraordinary, and I'm shout out to all of you. And can I just, you women working in so many countries around the world, just remember the fierce, extraordinary leaders that you heard from this week. Dame Jacinda, Mary Robinson, Mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Aki Sawyer, right? Wanjira Mathai, Tarana Burke, Pat Mitchell, Leela Downs, Queen Yemi, of course, what else can we say? Gail Smith, Warira Crystal, our awardees, Amal Clooney, the minister from Brazil. That's what excellence looks like. I didn't say female excellence, I said excellence and leadership. Yeah, no. But I was looking at that list of extraordinary women, and I was reminded of some words by a woman I revere, and we're here in the UK, and it's the Queen, but it's Queen Latifah, right? So what do we say? We say ladies first, ladies first. The ladies can kick it, the rhyme that is wicked. Those who don't know how to be pros get evicted. A woman can bear you, break you, take you. Now is time to ride. Can you relate to a dope sister fierce enough to make you holler and scream? What? Ladies first, ladies first. So you extraordinary women, go home and do the thing. And what are we gonna do, Selena? See you in 2025. Thank you.